This is the brand new Boss VE-22 vocal performer. It's a mains powered or battery powered multi-effects pedal for vocalists with built-in loop station. As soon as you turn it on, you've got the presets that's already programmed. There are 50 different presets already programmed into it with 3 different effects attached. You can play with these and manipulate these, and I'll show you how to do those in a moment. In addition to the presets, you've got the memory banks, which is indicated by the U here at the top. There's also 49 of these, so you've got plenty of options to change them up, save them in, ready for your live performances. With these 2 pedals here, you'll notice you've got this signal memory. Press them together and you'll enter into memory mode, which means you can go up and down through the presets, which is really handy when you're live on stage and don't want to use your hands, you can just use your feet. You'll know you're in memory mode when these 3 bars disappear. This brings us on nicely to the loop station effect. While you're in the memory mode, you can use the loop button here to go into the loop effect by holding it down for 2 seconds. You'll see loop come on. If the furthest right pedal is flashing, you've done this correctly and you've entered into loop mode. This is the pedal you're going to be concerned with to record, play, stop and clear your recordings. No other buttons are needed, just this one. To start a recording loop, we're going to hit this button which will turn this red and set record. So this is currently recording to the start of the loop and ongoing until you hit this button to stop it, and it will close the loop and repeat itself. When you hit this button, it will go blue. You'll see it says play, so it's now playing that loop that's just been recorded over and over it again. You can add on top of that layer. When you press it again, you'll go into overdub. This is signalled by the yellow light here, and it will continue to record on the top of layer upon layer upon layer until you hit the button, and then it will continue the playback of that loop. If for any reason you don't like what's just happened and you want to start again, you hold down the button until it clears, and now you're back to the original start of the loop with nothing playing back and nothing recorded. You can start again. While in loop mode, you can still access the effects. Using the harmony pedal, it will still act to turn on and off the effects on this pedal. As we're still in memory mode, to access the loop function, the center pedal will only let us either toggle down through the parameters or turn off loop mode. So for now, we're going to turn off loop mode and start looking at some of the effects. While in loop mode, you can still access the effects. Using the harmony pedal, it will still act to turn on and off the effects on this pedal. As we're still in memory mode, to access the loop function, the center pedal will only let us either toggle down through the parameters or turn off loop mode. So for now, we're going to turn off loop mode and start looking at some of the effects. So whether you're in the original presets or one of the memories that you've set up, these 3 pedals will activate these 3 effects. As you turn one on and off, you'll notice that it corresponds with each of the effects on the pedal. So furthest left, we've got the harmony. You can go into this and change how that is affected, the different types of harmonies, variations that are available. We'll come back to that in a moment. The second one, we've obviously got effects. This is one of the multi-effects that are available. You can scroll through and change which type of effect that is, so we'll come back to that in a moment. And on this third channel, we've got echo. Now, the reason this isn't called reverb it's not called delay is because it's essentially both of these. So you can have one or the other or both. So we'll come to that in a moment as well, but let's start with harmony. With each of these channels, there's 2 ways to access the memory and change it. You can either press the menu button, which will take you into it. You'll have to scroll down to the specific one. So here we've got harmony, so we'd scroll down and then we'd enter into the harmony one, and there we go, press the harmony button, and that will take us into harmony. The other way, the quick access, is just to press this twice. So that's assigned it. If we'd have changed it, it's saved it in there. I'm going to exit the menu for a second. So the quick access, instead of going all the way through, we can select the one that we want. So in this case, harmony, and we're just going to press it twice and it will take us straight in. This memory knob, by twisting this, we can go up and down. You've got 2 pages here, so we're going to go on the next page, and this takes us through the different menu of what's available to change. So in other words, this knob is going to scroll us up and down through the different options. These 3 here correspond with each row in the menu. So if we come down into this line here, this one is going to correspond with this line, so that will change that first one. This one is going to correspond with this line, so it will change that second one. And if there was a third one, that would control that. Obviously there's nothing, so it's not going to do anything. Once that's done, you've set all your parameters, so you've gone up and down, you've gone to whichever one you want to, you've changed the levels, you've got it sounding right, double click, and it will save and assign to that particular one that you're using. So if you double click harmony, you're in harmony, double click harmony, it will save it and come out. And then obviously to come out the menu entirely, just press exit and we're back in the beginning. So you've set that parameter to how you want it. So now when you turn it on and off, that's the effect that you've programmed. Let's go on to effects. So just like the harmony channel, we're going to turn that one off so it doesn't distract us. We're going to go into the effects pedal, which is this knob here. So quick access, double click will take us straight in, and we can go up and down again on these pages. But this top line is the one we're going to be concerned with first, and this second one here. So when we go through these effects, this is going to show us all the different effects that are available, and this bar across the bottom shows us when we've gone through the full menu. So let's go back to the beginning. So we've gone right to the beginning, can't go any further. So the first one we've got here is pitch correct. So this is going to change the pitch of the sound that's coming through. So when you're singing, it's obviously, it's going to sound higher in pitch or lower in pitch. You can change that even further. So once you've set the effect, you can go down and change that particular effect. So we've got here we've got mode, soft, electric, robots. They're all going to sound slightly different in the way that that it's affected. Here we've got the different type of scale that the pitch is going to jump the pitch to. So we've got a chromatic scale, the key, so you can change the key that the scale is in and that the pitch is going to go to. So obviously when it's pitch correcting, it's going to move the note that you're singing into a note within that particular key, and then obviously how quickly it jumps into that note. So for example, when you've got share, if you believe in love after, it's jumping all over the place, that's obviously really quick. So you slow it down, it's obviously going to sound more natural as it goes into those notes. So you balance that out, you can work out sort of how you want it. Then you've got all the other ways that you can do the tone and the texture and sounds and all that sort of stuff. So that's pitch correct. Let's go to the next one. So we've got short delay. So you've got the time of delay, so how quick it is. Ideally you want this set to a BPM, so if your track is at 120 BPM, then you want the time milliseconds to reflect what that is. The feedback is how long that delay goes on for, and then the effect level is how loud it is in comparison to the dry signal, which is the unaffected sound. So you can obviously go through that. So there's lots of different effects to go in: ring mod, radio, lo-fi, slicer, distortion, flanger and chorus. So you've got two effects there: distortion and chorus. Vibrato, flanger, phaser. So have a play around with those, and they're a lot of fun. But once you've picked your effect, you like which one it is for your particular song, double click it, it'll obviously write it to that effect. So now we've got phaser, all the different parameters, and that's going to turn on and off. As you can see there, what it's doing is just going to turn on and off the phaser. So we're going to exit the menu. So now on this one, the effect is phaser. So we've got harmony, phaser, and then the final one here, we've got echo. So we'll turn off that for a moment. Okay, so let's look at echo. We're going to go into the quick access, so double click. So in here, we've got hall. Now this is going to be your reverb initially. So again, we're on the top line here. Switch on and off. So this is just going to affect that. It's just doing what that button does. So we've got on and off. So we're using this one, which corresponds with this channel, top one, hall. So let's go back to the beginning. So ambience, this is just being an ambient sound, so type of reverb. We've got room reverb, hall reverb, plate reverb, so all your different types. Here you've got your delay, so we're coming out of reverb now into a delay sound. You can obviously change that by going into the different options here. So back at the same examples that we used on the effect thing. So delay time, the feedback, the type of delay, all that sort of stuff. We won't get too caught up into that. So obviously that's delay. We've got delay and ambient. So this is where you've got both delay and reverb on this one channel. Delay and the room reverb, so you're basically combining them there. So if you didn't want to use delay on here, you can use it on one of these ones, which would open up that effect to perhaps have a different effect on it. It may be that you want to separate those, so you've got delay and reverb, delay on one and reverb on another. Depends what you want to do, so you can have a play around with those. So you've got all those different types, and then obviously you can change those parameters as well. So that is echo. So now we've got our presets put in, we've got our harmony preset set, we've got our effect set in and our delay. That's all the effects that are available in here. We've been able to manipulate and set it up for the particular track that we want. So now we might want to save that in so we can come back to it later and don't have to reprogram it every time. So if you want to do that, and look at this right option here, you're going to press exit and menu together, and we're going to be able to write it in. Now, first of all, we're going to think, okay, this song, where does it come in the set list? Is it the first? Is it the second, third? So looking at here, we've got U01, so that'll be the first one on the list. Track 2, it might be track 2 in the set, so we can save it to then. So we're going to pick where in the set we're going to save that particular preset to. So for now, we're going to go track 1. Coming down here, we've got this one here. We can move along and we can change the name of that particular preset. So we're going to edit this to say track 1. This knob here will take it up and down across the list. So whatever character you're going to edit. And this one will change the character itself. So here we're going through, you can have it in capitals or lowercase. I quite like capitals. So T and 1, move over, then we'll edit that out. So that's saved in there. Execute is enter. This one, push that, so that's saved in there now. So now this is track 1. So if we go up through the memories, every time we go to U01, it's going to say track 1, it's got all our presets and that's saved in there. So if we're playing, it may be that you want to save that as your track name to remember the track name. So when you're scrolling through, you know, oh, okay, well, there's our track name. We know that that's all the effects for that particular track. And you can go on to track 2 and edit and do all those things. So once you've got that set in, we can still go from there into loop mode. So if we press these two together, we're going to go into the memory mode. We've gone into the loop mode, so we're going to hold this one down for 2 seconds. We're into the loop mode, and we've still got those effects applied. So if we're recording, we can still use these knobs here to apply all the different effects to that particular loop. So let's say we're recording, we want to add on some phaser effects, so that will be recording with the phaser effect, with the loop and delay, with the harmony. This is the only pedal that will affect these effects though. These two are obviously being used for other things, so you have to add in effect and echo, you'd have to use these knobs here, unless you had an expression pedal connected, which I'll come to in a minute. So on the back of the unit here, we're going to twist this around and I'll show you all the different things we've got on here. So from left to right, we've got the main mic input. This sensitivity here is the loudness with which the mic will be going into the input. You've got phantom power here, so if you're using, you're not using a dynamic mic, you're using a condenser mic, for example. Some of those require phantom power, which is power going to the mic to power it to work, so then you'd switch that on. But switch that on before you turn the unit on, or and after you've plugged it in, otherwise you'll get nasty pops and it's not good, you can damage it. The output here, so this is you're using XLR leads if you want to send it out to a main desk or something like that. Another option to send the sound out is the line out. So obviously if you're going to record into your phone or things like that, it might be that you're using line out. Auxiliary in, so this might be helpful for things like looping. If you've got a backing track or a drum beat that you want to send in there and save it on the loop, you can send it line in that way and then record that in using your looper. This expression pedal will obviously be a jack lead input connected up to either a control pedal, which essentially acts as another button. So if you're running out of buttons on your looper, or you want to use other effects or things, or manipulate parameters of an effect, you would buy an additional expression pedal or control pedal, and you can do that. So for example, if you're going to use your delay and you want to affect how often or how long the delay runs for on the fly, and you want to slow it down or speed it up, you can do that with an expression pedal, so it's really good for that. You've obviously got additional leads for MIDI and things like this, or it used to be MIDI, but now you've got USB-C drive. So this is things like BPMs and syncing it up and things. You've got your main power input, so if you don't want to use your battery, you can plug it in there, a DC in, so you save your battery power. And then you've got your power on and off. And that is the VE-22 by Boss Vocal Performer Multi-Effects Pedal and Loop Station.